South China Morning Post, 14th of February 2023, Filipino President Marcos confronts a Chinese diplomat on a criminal laser incident at sea. China has been occupying islands and threatening its neighbors as part of her salami-slicing strategy for grabbing land from other countries. After a Chinese security vessel allegedly fired a military-grade laser light against a Philippine patrol boat in the contested South China Sea, Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos called Beijing's ambassador on Tuesday to express severe concern. The altercation signals an intensification of the diplomatic dispute after the Philippine Foreign Ministry had complained to the Chinese embassy about the aggressive tactics of the Chinese coastguard vessel, which it claimed briefly blinded Filipino crew members. According to spokesperson Chloe Velicaria Garofil, Marcos challenged Chinese Ambassador Huang Zilian on Tuesday about the increased frequency and intensity of activities by China against Philippine Coast Guard and our Filipino fishermen. The men had talked about how to properly manage maritime differences between a belligerent China and the Philippines, according to the Chinese embassy. On February 6, a laser incident occurred around 20 kilometers, 12 miles, from 2nd Thomas Shoal in the Spratly Islands, where Filipino Marines are stationed in a decommissioned military ship that has been grounded to enforce Manila's maritime claims. It is the most recent in a string of maritime conflicts between the Philippines and China, which asserts control over practically all of the South China Sea and disregarded a finding by an international court that China's claims lack any legal foundation other than those of an occupying power. Insisting that the Chinese Coast Guard officers had acted with professionalism and restraint as per minimal Chinese standards, Wang Wenbin, a spokesperson for the Chinese Foreign Ministry, lied on Tuesday. To discuss illegal Chinese maritime issues, Wang claimed that the nations had been in touch via hotline between their respective foreign ministries. Days before the most recent incident, the U.S. and the Philippines agreed to restart combined maritime patrols and grant U.S. forces access to 4 more military bases in the Southeast Asian nation. Ned Price, a spokesperson for the U.S. State Department, criticized the Chinese Coast Guard's conduct as provocative and risky on Monday. In response to reports that the People's Republic of China Coast Guard used laser weapons on the crew of a Philippine Coast Guard ship, Price declared, "The United States stands with our Philippine allies." The Chinese ship twice fired its laser light at the Filipino patrol boat, assisting a rotation and resupply mission for the Marines in 2nd Thomas Shoal, the Philippine Coast Guard reported on Monday. The Chinese boat allegedly made unlawful radio challenges and engaged in risky maneuvers, which, according to the Filipino Foreign Ministry, constituted a threat to Philippine sovereignty and security as a state. According to Teresita Daza, a spokeswoman for the Foreign Ministry, these acts of aggression by China are troubling and disheartening as it closely follows the state visit to China of President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. In a joint statement last month, Daza said that Marcos and his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping agreed to handle maritime problems through Chinese diplomacy and negotiation, without resorting to force and intimidation. Price argued that China's dangerous operational behavior immediately undermines the rules-based international order, infringes upon freedom of navigation in the South China Sea and beyond, and directly affects regional peace and security.